Hello and welcome to the new school year. I'm Dr. Tyson Povis and I am your student's advisor this year. In Lighthouse, we divide into 3 advisories. This year, I am with the 6th and 7th graders. Happily, I know many of you already, and I got to meet some of you at open house, and I look forward to meeting the rest of you in person and continuing our support of your child's learning. Each week, I typically put together a quick set of highlights like you see here on the screen. I post them to Schoology and I email them out to families as well. But this week, given that we are starting the new school year, I've also put together this video to hopefully get us all oriented. I'll try and move through quickly so not to take too much of your time. Please feel free to pause on any slide you want to see longer or follow up with any questions. Lighthouse expectations is how we started our school year. On day 1 with your students, we went through the Spring Lake Park expectations. Making sure that we follow these expectations will help us form that academic community that will lead to success for everybody. We'll continue to address these throughout the year, and we are working as a 6th and 7th grade team to create a Lighthouse acronym that goes along with our expectations, so that way we can all have a common language. We'll be presenting that to the elementary students in the few weeks, I hope, in this coming week. A few more expectations we went over with students that are specific to Lighthouse include our snack nook. Please make sure if you do send a snack with your student that it is nut-free snack. We have lockers, a few changes. We have a recording room that is going to be used short-term by request if students have a project that they need silence for or might be recording some language piece or working together, making a video. We do have a recording room. And then the room that used to be the recording room is now Mr. Cook's office. He might be new to you around Lighthouse. He will be working with our staff on professional development and will probably interface with your students as well. So I hope you get to meet him and benefit from his creativity. The creation zone is off limits for now. It's on hold. We're just going to get it back up and running, making sure everything's organized, and we'll actually start using it with a PE project. And then we have a large open space. We can name something else, but for now it's called the Think Tank. And again, that is a space that currently is being used for PE. Many of you who've been at Lighthouse before might know these zones have been used in other ways in the past. Some of those changes have been hard for students, but we are looking forward to using all these spaces in productive ways this year. Overview of the schedule, especially for new families. We have attendance and advisory in the morning. Then we'll have work block 1 and lunch. Lunch, if you have any appointments or things like that, just note we have a fairly early lunch at 10:35. Right after lunch, we have break, work block 2. Then this year, PE happens during second break on a rotating schedule. So right now it's Mondays and Wednesdays. I'll be with the 6th and 7th graders for PE. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'll be with 2nd through 5th graders for PE, or 1st through 5th graders, I should say. Please send your student with tennis shoes those days and for all weather, because we'll try and be outdoors as much as possible. That goes for every day, really, because of the breaks. We'll try and be outdoors as much as possible. What was the other element there? Oh, yes. So sometimes we have Mondays off or Fridays off of school. So we will adjust such that your student still gets 2 days of PE each week. So Wednesday will stay consistent and it'll be either Mondays or Fridays, depending on if we have a day off, just so you know. And then work block 3 and then our reset. So buses will pick up at 2:45 and parent pickup is at 3. I think you all know those basics, but just want to refresh your memory. More specifically, we have our advisory schedule here. You'll get really familiar with this because each week I will update the schedule. And instead of PLM for personal learning meeting, it will start to have your student's name there so you know and your student knows when their one-on-one meeting is. We do one-on-one meetings every week that are on a schedule, but also, of course, we're popping in and talking to each other and checking on how students are doing throughout every day. All right, so what are students doing during these different times of days and these work blocks? Our academic expectations include math and world language. Teachers cover writing in different ways. My class, we usually do a weekly writing assignment. Sometimes they're 2 weeks, depending on what type of rigor is behind that assignment, what type of depth. Book challenges in the first trimester, we have 3 book challenges. Lit clubs are not underway yet, but we'll be beginning those in a few weeks. That's where it's more directed than a book challenge where students are choosing their own books. Inquiry, that's the headliner there for Lighthouse. People love to come and share their passion and explore new passions through their inquiry projects. Science and social studies, we incorporate those into each of the above, or whichever of the above might make sense. And if you're not familiar yet with the SLP competencies, those are like the big learning goals within each subject area. We'll be talking about those much more with science and social studies to make sure your student is addressing some of the big pieces of knowledge we want to make sure all students are exposed to in their education here. And then the arts, this year the arts as an umbrella is part of our interdisciplinary work. So instead of having a specific class with the arts, we will be incorporating that into our advisories. Since I teach the PE courses as well, one of our arts assignments is going to be a putt-putt course design that's coming up. And then we will also be making short films as part of a Newbery book project. It's the 100th year. If you know, the Newbery Award medals go out, and this is the 100th year for that. And we can submit our short films to a competition. So we'll be learning about film making and putt-putt course design with some art history incorporated. As I said, I teach PE and health as well. I used to work at a medical center doing educational outreach, so I'm excited to get back to doing that. What did we do the first week, though? The first week in school, we didn't have everything set up to jump right into inquiries and the like and book challenges because we were just getting back into the swing of things. Instead, what we wanted to do is get to know your student and make sure that we know them in many ways. Who they are, what they like, what their interests are, making sure our students got to know one another. When are your birthdays? What types of things do you like to do? What are things from your past you want to share with us? And then looking at mathematical abilities and writing abilities, all the things on this list help me get a baseline of where your student is, so that way we can craft a year that expands upon what they're great at and can address some of the things that they're still working toward. You'll see as you look on Schoology, and if you're not familiar with Schoology, please let me know and I can help you get logged in and navigate this system. Schoology will look like this for our course. The first week checklist items, these are folders where your student turns things in. You can go over, for me it says grade book, but for you as a parent or a student, it will show what has and has not been submitted. So by this point, all of the students should have submitted one thing into each of these folders. Missing assignments should be quickly caught up on, so that way I can make sure I give feedback in a timely manner and use, again, these baselines to craft what we'll do next based on student needs. Another piece you'll see on Schoology is this grid. This grid, I hope you take up the invitation to explore it. Here is the video that you're watching now. But then each of the images that you click on will lead you through some of the learning that we did as a class this week. We talked about communication and math talk, time management, humor, creativity, expectations, the gifted mind, and our general schedule, and who I am as your facilitator this year. All the videos and content were meant to help us understand who we are as learners, how our brain works, how we can work together, how we can have a great mindset for the school year. Speaking of the school year, this day right here that we're leading up to, Monday the 12th, all the way through December the 1st, marks the first trimester. There are 50 days within those borders that I just mentioned. So those 50 days, often you'll hear students calculating how much they have worked toward their goal. So if your student is intending to do 2 Rosetta lessons, one of their language lessons a day, then they'd have a goal of 100 lessons by the end. So when we talk about goal setting and I show you the tracker that we use, it's based on these 50 days from the 12th there all the way to the 1st of December. And in between, many things will happen. I look forward to all of the fun and learning that we'll have together. Please do reach out anytime. I am happy to talk with you by email, by phone, or we'll set up a WebEx, because as close to face-to-face as we can get is sometimes how we can make sure there's no miscommunication. I look forward to our year together. Have a good one. Bye.